If you currently search for flights and book flights on one of these, I'm going to tell you right now that you should stop, and that's because you're probably getting charged more for doing so. In this one, we're going to look at some of the ways that airlines and booking platforms will extract money from you just because you want a little bit of convenience, and some really great, very simple ways of combating it and making sure you get your flights for the best price. The first one we're going to look at is the convenience aspect. The airlines and the booking platforms know that you're using a mobile phone. That tells them a couple of different things. The first one is that you're looking for convenience. You're possibly a bit pushed for time. You might be quickly looking for flights while you're watching the telly or you're on your lunch break at work. And convenience comes at a price. The other thing they know is that you don't have a ton of screen real estate there, and you're probably less likely to have 5 or 6 different tabs open to compare pricing from different places or from different airlines. And all that data means that maybe they'll creep the price on you a bit. Then we have to look at dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing is prevalent in all kinds of online sales, but particularly for things like flights. And that's where, by using things like browser cookies, that a lot of people see the browser thing pops up, they just click accept and they forget it was ever done. Those cookies are building a picture of you for the airline or the booking platform's algorithm that tells them about you as a unique individual. And I don't mean how great your hair looks today or what kind of clothes you wear. What it tells them is what you're looking for and when and where. And this is all vital information. If they see you constantly returning to the site and booking for similar dates, a similar period of time to perhaps a couple of different locations, that shows them an increase in demand. That shows them that you're really serious about traveling. If you look at flights once and never return, you're a casual user kind of thing. But if you keep looking in a short period of time, or perhaps over the course of a few days, you can expect the pricing to go up. You must have had it before where you've been looking at flights for a week and then suddenly you go to book and they've gone up by 30 quid a head. That's an example of dynamic pricing, and there are ways you can combat that. Now, something else that actually you can combat but is a real thing is your location, particularly if you're in the UK. Don't forget, we've got a different currency from the rest of Europe. It's now post-Brexit, so we're not governed by some of the EU pricing rules that we once were. And those things mean it might be more expensive for us to book a flight than it would be if we were in the EU somewhere. So there are different ways of trying to sort of combat this. But one of the easiest ways is to use a VPN. Now, I've been using Surfshark for years, and I have got an affiliate link for that, which is in the video description. So if you want to check that one, please do. But there are loads of good VPNs available. And you can use that, for one thing, just to disguise your UK IP address. But you can also fool your web browser into thinking you're in a different country. And again, this makes it harder for you to be tracked. And that also means that, say you tell Ryanair that you're in Spain, you get the Spanish version of that website and therefore the Spanish pricing. Things like exchange rates may be beneficial, and also regulations in that country, or just general pricing in that country. And there's no reason you shouldn't, try a few different countries and see where you can find yourself the best deal. So here's how we beat the system. First, we don't use one of these to look for flights. And if we do, we certainly don't ever use the airline or the booking platform's own app, because those apps, you're generally signed into them all the time and they will be tracking you all of the time. So only actually log in to anything at the time you want to book. But if you start off by not using that, that's a great place to be. So we're only going to use a desktop or a laptop to search for our flights. When we do search for our flights, we're going to go into incognito mode or private browsing mode. If you don't know how to do that, a quick Google will soon tell you how to do it. And that means that you've rejected the cookies, you're in an incognito or private browsing mode, and you should have a little bit of extra protection there. We can then also look at using a VPN. not only to protect our identity within the UK, but also to fool some of the platforms to think we're in a different country, to see if we get more beneficial pricing from that. And finally, we're not going to log into anything until we're ready to actually book. This might all seem outrageously complex to book some flights, but the airlines don't think it's outrageously complex to do all this stuff to try and charge you a bit more. I think you should try and beat them at their own game. And the few simple little things I mentioned in this video will help you do exactly that. Now, the other thing you can do to beat them at their own game is not pay for crazy baggage charges. And there's a bit about that in this next video that's popping up on your screen. And it will show you how I've saved myself an absolute fortune in baggage charges. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Go and check that one out. See you soon.